Hi everyone, welcome back to the WebDriver tutorial, and this is day 50. So today's session, in previous tutorial we actually learned Jenkins and the different topic like Jenkins plugin, creating a job, executing the job for test cases, publishing a report, and also creating a pipeline. So these are like few topics that we learned in a Jenkins. Today's topic is little bit more into framework. So this is like one of the pending sessions from a framework that we will be covering today. So let's talk about the framework first. The framework that we created it has two parts, SRC main Java, SRC test Java. SRC main Java, it is the core framework. You can call this as the core framework. So in core framework we had base page, this is the base class of all pages. Base test, this is base class for all the test classes. Browser factory, that is helpful for creating browser object, So you can see that, if the browser is Chrome, then driver equal to new Chrome driver. If the browser is Firefox, then I'm saying driver equal to new Firefox driver that way. There is another class constants.java. There is in utilities we have is Excel reader, Excel writer, synchronization utilities, and accounts input data. Okay, this is for the data driven test case that we created. So I can just show you the sample user sample data here, and the test case we created must be somewhere here. So Alter Mutual Bank test, yes. So you can see that we do have a test case with a data provider, and the data provider is coming from data providers. The name of data provider is this. Data provider class is equal to the class where you have data provider method. So this was a data driven test case, and we have used page object model. You can see that pattern. So like open login page, perform login, this method, get welcome message, these methods, or go to account, all these methods are coming from the page classes that we created. So first we are starting with the home page, then going to login page. From login page we are going to user home page, and home page I'm just calling few methods like get welcome message, and from home page I'm again switching to account that returns me account history page. So this is what is like page object model looks like that we learned in the previous session. We do have a DP package that is actually that is containing class which has the data provider. So we learn hard-coded data provider here, and there is another data provider which actually reads data from the Excel and sends the data or feeds the data to the test case. The pages that we have used is learning.page, but in case of Alter Mutual we created a separate package for Alter Mutual so that it will be easier to manage all the pages. So we start with home page, then we go to login page, from login page user home page, and from home page we select account, and we are going into accounts history page. Then there is a package for Amazon pages also, and finally a test package for which is containing all the test cases. Okay, so this is like a high level framework, but there are some scope of improvements that we can do with the framework. So first is adding, or right now the problem is the configuration. Okay, the configuration is hard coded. What we have to do is we have to separate that configuration from the code. So the configuration is presently written in constant.java. I don't want this configuration to be there in a constant.java. I want to remove this configuration and put it into some property file or something like that. Okay, so just quickly see how we can load a properties file and read the configuration from a properties file. So in order to read the configuration file, I'm just creating a file. The name I will give is config.property. Config.properties. And you can write whatever configuration that you want to have in this framework. So for example, the constant.java was containing this configuration. I want to remove it from here and put it into, let's say for example, this Gecko driver and Chromedriver path. I don't want to keep it hard coded. I want to take it from the external source file. Similar is the thing I want to do it with a browser name. So what I'm going to do is I'm just declaring property equal to value syntax. So you can see that browser name is a property which has a value as a Chrome. Don't give double quotes, okay, because it is not a Java. So if you want to add a comment, you can just add hash and say that driver executable path. Then this is like which browser to execution. Okay, so this is like another comment. So the browser name is Chrome and the driver executable path I want to keep it eDrive. Okay, so in constant.java I won't be writing that path, so it is like I am removing that configuration from the source code. Okay, now why we are removing configuration from the source code? The reason is I don't want to keep that configuration hard-coded with the code. So if you are hard-coding the configuration values with the code, then every time, let's say you want to run a project, you will have to change the code, compile it and run it. You won't be able to run the same instance of the code for the different parameters, right? I want to make it more parameterized way, that way. So the framework should be configurable. That's a good quality aspect I'm talking about. So configurable, it means you should be able to change the settings, you should be able to change the configuration for your framework. Now for example, changing a browser name, it should be very easy as much like, you know, just going into the file and just load the configuration. Okay, so the next part is, I don't want to keep these values hard-coded here, right? So how to load that configuration? So in constant.java only, what I will do is I will create a static block. Static block is executed just like a static variable. You know, whenever the variable is declared, before that static block is executed. So this execution happens once before you access any member from that class. So there I'm, okay, outside a class I will declare first properties object. Properties, okay, props is equal to, I will say null initially. Let's wait for a few seconds. Don't forget to import properties class from java.util. Okay, so I do have properties object. Let's initialize that properties object. Okay, I want to make it static so that I can access into it inside a static block. Okay, so I'm saying props is equal to new properties. Okay, I want to load that properties, but for loading, first you should have an object of properties, and then this object has a method load. Okay, this load method is, you can see that it is overloaded. One method is taking input stream object, another is taking reader object. Now it's up to you that which object you want to pass. I will use the simplest way, that is path dot get. Okay, there you have to pass the URL, and to that you can just say one second, to URI dot open stream. Oh, URL or URI. So I will use another alternate method. I will use resources from Google Java repository. This is a class that is helpful if you want to find out Okay, resources dot. I'm not seeing that method. I don't know why. Okay. Okay, I found it. Resources dot get resource. There you have to specify the file name. My file name is config.properties, so I'm writing that here. Okay, and this will return me resource. I want to say OpenStream. So OpenStream method creates a input stream connection to that file, and this line may throw exception of type like IO exception. So I'm going to surround it with try and catch block. So in catch block I will throw another exception. This is like custom throwing exception. New runtime exception, and there I will pass that same object as it is. I think I did some typing mistake while giving the config.properties name. Let me correct that. Oh, okay. So there you have to give exception, like I don't want to say new runtime error, I want to say new runtime exception. So the exception message is configuration file not found or cannot be loaded. Okay, that is the message I want to give, and the file name is config.properties. Let me just correct it. Perfect. So what I'm doing on this line is, see this line, what it will do is, okay, first line, this code will locate the resource, okay, and get resource method actually returns URL object, and on that URL object I am calling OpenStream method. So OpenStream method returns objected to input stream, and this input stream object I am giving it to the load method. You can see that load method takes input stream parameter, so I just given that input stream parameter to the load method. So that property value will be loaded into props object. Okay, so this code is only for loading the properties, and here if you want to return the Chromedriver path or Geckodriver path or the browser name, I'm going to write, instead of like this kind of hard coding, I'm going to write few methods. So first method I will write is public static string, because it is going to return a string, get Chromedriver path. And how to get the Chromedriver path? It's very easy. We already have that properties loaded. So simply say props dot get property, and you have to pass, I want to say get property, and you have to pass the name of a property. So name of property is written inside that config file. Just open it. The config file path, the name of the property is Chrome_driver_path. So you can see the syntax: property name equal to value, property name equal to value. If you want to add a comment, you just simply write hash. So it's very easy basically. Here I'm saying Chromedriver path. I'm just giving the property name. It will return with the value. So the value which I want to return.